Hello and welcome. Today, on this dear channel of mine, I'm going to be talking about one of the most iconic, strongest, most powerful comic book characters that ever lived. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the man from tomorrow, the man of steel. If you have not guessed it, his parents are named Jor-El and Laura, and he came from the planet Krypton. So if you haven't guessed it now, a 5-year-old can tell you that I'm going to be talking about Superman. So, my topic for Superman is, how in the world can he be defeated? My dear friends, I've been reading comic books for over 30 years. 30 years or more I've been reading them. I started in the 1970s when my age was in the single digits. When I became a teenager, I started using my allowance money to buy them every week. Here, where I live at in Baltimore, Maryland, I used to go to the, quote, Inner Harbor every week religiously to get my stash of comic books. So yes, my 30 years of experience has definitely given me the ability to talk about who in the world can beat Superman. My good people, there are plenty of people who can destroy and easily defeat Superman. But before I go over my list of ways of beating him, let's take a little trip to Hollywood and go over those movies that feature Superman. I believe Superman was he had a number of television series, live action of actual human beings actors, and cartoon animations. So Superman, he's known all over the planet if you have a television set in your house. But here's the kicker, my good friends. Have you ever noticed Superman always faced physical threats? I'm going to say it 3 times for the slow learners out there. Because when I was in elementary school, I was on an IEP, so I'm not insulting anyone. I was on an IEP myself. Before I started making A's and B's, I was a slow learner. So I can say for the slow learners out there, because I was one once. Superman, when you look at cartoons and movie, he always fighting physical threats. He's fighting a giant robot. He's fighting a monster. He's fighting somebody with super strength, laser beams. He always fighting somebody like him who he can easily defeat because they only have physical powers. And I discovered it with the comic books too. He only fight people with physical powers, super strength, can run fast, almost like a clone of him and a robot. Now, I made me a list. I got about 10 or more items on my list of individuals, or not individuals, specific powers that can definitely hurt Superman. So I'm going to say that again. Not just individuals. I'm gonna name. I'm gonna have the individuals in my slideshow. You know, the cartoon like slideshow. But I'm just gonna give the power set that you need to take Superman out of the run or give him a run for his money. Because movies, they always showing Superman doing something physical. Pushing the earth, extinguishing the fire, changing the flow of a river, lifting up a mountain. You get my point. He always doing something physical that you can touch, you can feel. He always fighting somebody physical who you can touch, you can feel. But let's start this off. Did you ever see Superman fight somebody who has shrinking powers like the atom. My good people, the atom can severely hurt Superman. Some of y'all out there may be saying, how? How can an atom beat Superman? All he can do is shrink. Well, here's how he can beat Superman. He can beat Superman in two ways. Now, I haven't read the atom in a long time, so hey, I could be wrong. One thing the atom can do is shrink Superman or make him grow to a humongous height. That's how he can beat Superman. Make him grow so tall that his powers become so unwieldy that he had to leave the Earth altogether. If he leave Earth, he's been defeated. Or you can shrink him so small that he become like a molecule or an atom. Then when you shrink him, you leave him there. He's been defeated. And when you're the size of an atom, your strength only going to do so much. You only can do so much because he's an atom. A human body compared to an atom is like a galaxy. And Superman, for all his powers, he cannot lift no galaxy. I saw him deal with black holes. He can push the earth. He can survive the sun. But I never saw Superman push no galaxy. If he was the size of an atom, a human being would be like the size of a galaxy, so his super strength would be nil. So that's number one. Shrink the bastard or make him grow to the size of a skyscraper where he has to leave the earth altogether. You see, my good people? How many times have Superman fought somebody like that who can change the size of something? I never once in all my reading of comic books saw him fight somebody like that. The people who he fighting, they got a set size and they got physical-based powers. There you go. The first one. The next person who can defeat Superman, or not a person, or a way that you can defeat him, you can overwhelm his senses. You saw that in the most recent movie called Man of Steel. When he was a little boy, his sense was overwhelmed. When the Kryptonians came to Earth and they took off their helmet, their senses were overwhelmed. So even if Superman was on Earth for a number of years, you can overwhelm his senses with one. A flash bomb that can distort his vision. And then after that, you can use sonic emitters that will give his hearing a run from the money. If you saw the Superman movie with Christopher Reeve in it, the first one, Lex Luthor contacted Superman via his super hearing. So there you go. Overwhelm his senses, overwhelm his ability to see, overwhelm his ability to hear. And when those Kryptonian senses was messed up, they could not think. They could not think straight. So that's how you can get him. Another way of doing it, which is what I read in comic books and all my readings of comic books for many of these decades, this probably only happened a couple times. If you can create an illusion that can affect Superman, you got him. Illusion-based powers, when I read comic books, messed Superman up. He did not know if he was going left or right or up or down when he fights somebody who has those illusion powers. And right in line with those illusion powers, Superman, he always had trouble with people who had psychic abilities. If you can control his mind, you got him. I'm going to say it again. Now I know Superman, I think his mind is sort of strong, so you got to be a top-notch psychic to affect him. A low-level psychic cannot affect him. You got to even be a mid-level psychic or a top-notch psychic with mental manipulation powers to get to him. But that's a way of defeating him. You get into his brain, you make him think he's a 5-month-old baby again. He's defeated. What can a 5-month-old baby do? Defeated. Or I can get into his mind, I can make him go live in the sun forever. I said, go fly, get in this man, go fly and live in the sun. And you stay there and you never come out. Because remember, he don't need to eat, sleep, drink water. So you go live in the sun. Or I just make him tunnel his way to the center of the earth and the man that he stay there. And when he's in the sun or he's in the center of the earth, there's not too many superpowered people who can reach him. There's a few like Green Lantern, but your run-of-the-mill, common superheroes such as Batman, maybe even the Flash, they cannot reach Superman in the center of the earth or in the sun. So, mental powers. So you see, my good people, I'm coming up with many. I already gave you about 3 ways. Here we go. You can be a person who can manipulate energy can beat Superman. You can suck all the solar energy out of his body and make him just like any common Kryptonian stuck on Earth. You just make him a normal mortal. Drain all his energy out of his body. Or, if you can manipulate energy, I would bombard him with red star radiation. If you know about his past. Because you know, one thing I like about Superman now, everybody on Earth don't know his weaknesses. Everyone don't know his weaknesses. So everyone don't know that red solar energy may affect him. But if you in the know, or you got the power, bombard his butt with red solar energy and let's see how tough he is then when he's a normal mortal. Or even if you don't know about Krypton sun, everybody on the planet from your grandmother to your 3-year-old nephew or niece, they know Superman is powered by the sun. So I suck out all the solar energy in him. There you go. He's defeated. Another way of defeating the Man of Steel. If you can generate force fields, you got him right there. Now, I know he can break out the force field if you have his body surrounded, because he can produce a tremendous amount of force. But here's the catch. What if you place that force field inside his body? Inside. I don't got to place the force field inside his brain to kill him. I can place a small force field in his hand and expand it by 1 centimeter, and that will cause tremendous pain. You got me? Yes, I don't know if he's invulnerable inside his body, but even if he is, by putting that little force field in there, that little bubble, it got to push the other stuff to the side, because Superman, he still got relatively normal skin. You can tap him. He don't feel like actual steel, from what I know. So, put a force bubble inside of him and expand it and give him excruciating pain. I guarantee you he'll run when he see you. If you're not, now, he can defeat you if he uses super speed on you, but if you get him first, you got to get him first. You get him first, you see him first, you put the bubble in him, and he's gone. Now, if he uses super speed to knock you out, okay, he knock you out. If he tag you with that heat vision first, but you got that force field to protect you from all his powers, yes, your force field that you can generate can protect you from his freeze breath, maybe even his heat beams. I think his heat beams, I don't know if these solar like or they light based. If they light based, you got a force field. Light go through the force field. But hey, I don't want to get too technical. I'm just giving you ways of how to defeat Superman. Another way of defeating Superman is with dark matter. Now, out of all my methods, this may be the slowest method. Dark matter. You surround his body in a cocoon of pure dark energy that will inhibit his absorption of solar radiation. But the only flaw about that is, I heard that his body is like a solar battery. So even if the sun disappeared all of a sudden, he may have a couple years of power left because his body efficiently stores that solar energy. So if you put a dark matter field around him, I don't know how effective that would be in a short term. You would have to leave that field around him for a long time. Or, if he had great control of it, I just put it tight to his chest. I don't got to cover up his face. I just say, I'm going to put this tight to your chest so your chest becoming vulnerable. And when I'm ready to shoot you in the chest, I can. But hey, that's my weakest one, the dark matter field. Another way of defeating him is by matter manipulation. If you can, like a person like Firestorm can do damage to Superman, and not by just using his greatest weaknesses, which I will leave last. A matter transmuter can defeat Superman. For instance, if you study Kryptonian, you know Kryptonian, they send a lot of ships to Earth. I don't think Superman can destroy Kryptonian metal. I'm not sure he can do that. I don't think he can bend Kryptonian metal. I don't think his his beams do not work on Kryptonian metal, because when I was reading my comic books in the 80s, to shave himself, he took a piece of his Kryptonian ship and reflected the beam off that metal. So I don't know if he can bend Kryptonian metal. If he cannot bend Kryptonian metal, and you're a matter transmuter, and you know about the Kryptonian metal, hey, I got him. I will encase him in a 2-inch thick, a 5-inch thick holding cell. It don't even have to be 100% metal. I can just encase him in like a jail, like prisoners are placed in. Encase him in a Kryptonian jail. And what can he do? He's stuck there forever. He may be able to fly in his cage or whatever. But hey, he can't get out because of that matter transmuter. And if you really wanted to kill him, I would make that Kryptonian metal cage skin tight on him. And since he can't bend the metal, since it's skin tight, it'd be like he would become a living zombie. Because I never saw him bend or manipulate or break out Kryptonian metal. If I'm wrong, and you've seen him bend or destroy Kryptonian metal, please let me know. Moving down my list. If you got warping abilities, you can defeat Superman. Especially if you can make the warp stick to his body. He come and attack you, you warp him to Paris. Every time he come approach you, I just warp you somewhere else. And if you really got severe warping abilities, I can warp you to the other side of the moon. I can warp you to out of the solar system. I know he can fly it back, but he would definitely try to stay away from you because he know you can warp him. And if I had galactic warping abilities, if you knew where a red sun was, you can warp his butt into a red sun. And that's the end of Superman. So you see, my good people, I got many ways of defeating him. Now, for my last two, I'm coming to the methods that everybody know. Take a moment to think. There's 2 ways that everyone know that you can defeat Superman. I'll give you 5 seconds to think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can defeat Superman if you are magic based. There we go. We know he's vulnerable to magic, but I know what to do to get rid of him. This time to the warping abilities. When I read the Hawk 300, if you know about the Hawk 300, my good people, the Hawk, Bruce Banner, intellect was gone out of the Hawk. So Hawk became like a raging beast. Doctor Strange used his ability to send the Hawk to the nexus of reality. That's what you can do to Superman. Send him to the nexus of realities where he can go experiment different realities. Some realities he may be Superman, like the Hawk was Hawk in some realities. In some realities, the Hawk was a weakling. So for a magic person, I don't even gotta fight Superman. I just warp you to the nexus of the DC universe where you can experiment in different realities. But you probably will never get back to Earth. And in another way, not just the nexus of this realities, a magical based person can banish him from his right dimension and send him to another universe. And I don't care how fast he can fly. I never heard Superman jumping from one universe to the other. I never heard about that. I heard about him traveling so fast he can go through time. But I don't recall him switching to another universe. But maybe he did switch to another verse when he went to Earth 2 those times. So I don't know if he had the actual power to get to Earth 2 or did somebody help him. But you get my point. You can, a magic-based person can send him to another reality so far away from Earth, it'll take him years or decades to find the Earth reality again. The only reason he probably was able to get to Earth 2 because he knew the vibrational frequencies to get there. But I never saw him go to no other reality where it's all monsters, all demons, etc. And that's another way you can defeat Superman. Superman has always been vulnerable to fighting magic-based or spiritual entities. I don't think I say magic. He never fared well fighting against DC angels, and he never fought well fighting against a demon, which we never see in those movies. And last but not least, yes, everyone knows you can defeat Superman by kryptonite. But what I like about this incarnation of Superman, there's no such thing as gold kryptonite, pink kryptonite, burgundy kryptonite. You get my point. Back in the 70s, they had every type of kryptonite that you can think of. At least now, they made it more common. Let's make green and stay with the green. And the good thing about kryptonite these days, every fool on the street cannot get their hands on kryptonite. So kryptonite is a rare metal. If Superman was alive today, that metal for kryptonite probably worth millions of dollars. So my good people, those are my ways that I discovered on my own where you or someone can actually take down Superman. Like I said in the beginning, the movies, the comic books, the TV shows, the cartoons, they always focus on Superman fighting physical entities like Darkseid, a physical entity. Like Lex Luthor, a physical entity. Never did he have him fighting people or entities that I listed. Thank you for stopping by. If you like my discussion, give me a thumbs up. If you got any other ways of defeating Superman, leave a comment in the comment sections. If you like what I talked about, share what I created on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, whatever platform you like, Reddit. Share this video or share my discussion with those people. You all have a wonderful day. If you're a comic fan, keep reading your comic book. Thank you and have a good day.